I work in the Central Bank of Bhutan, that is the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan. And as far as the role of the RMA in the financial inclusion policy for Bhutan is concerned, we have taken a lead role in the sense that although the directive came from the government of Bhutan, from the Prime Minister's office, the RMA took the role of the chairperson in the financial inclusion task force in drafting the financial inclusion policy for Bhutan. From my personal experience as the chairperson of the financial inclusion task force for Bhutan, one of the major challenge was in terms of having the right coordination. As you know very well, financial inclusion policy cross-cuts through different organizations which is from the government sector, from the private sector, from the NGOs, and also from independent organizations like the central bank. So, so as said earlier, one of the most challenging is the lack of coordinated approach. As far as SME development in relation to financial inclusion is concerned, I think the primary problem that I see is the definition of microfinance or the definition of financial inclusion. And it differs from country to country. In our case, SME finance is not included within the definition of financial inclusion. It doesn't come within the financial inclusion policy framework, but looking into the experience of other countries and also the obstacle faced by the SME not qualifying either in the microfinance sector nor in the commercial sector, I think it's very important to incorporate them within the overall framework of financial inclusion. I think as we are very much aware that the growth, the overall growth is shifting to the east. So unlike the west, as we see that the countries which are experiencing growth has or might, the potential problem that I see is the problem that will come from the not having in place a proper financial inclusion policy, because as we know that as a citizen you have every right to enjoy the benefits of the growth from the economy, but then until and unless you are financially included, it will not bring about inclusive growth. I think the development of SME is very important, and more so because although most of the countries lack data on SME sector contribution to the GDP, but I think we do have to acknowledge that that is a sector which brings about a lot of contribution, not only in terms of contribution to the GDP, but also in terms of contribution to employment and other activities. So as a result, I think it's very important that we need to work on and also incorporate the development of the SME within the overall financial inclusion strategy. My personal opinion is that financial inclusion would mostly pertain to the developing countries, because as I said earlier, the developing countries over the period of years have experienced a wider gap between the haves and the haves not, and if we look into the realities of the unbanked people, say for example in my country Bhutan, we have a very small population, but the problem is that the population density is very low and the rugged terrain, basically what I'm trying to say is it is very difficult for the entities at large to take financial services to the people at large because of these factors. So as a result, what I think and what we have done in the context of Bhutan is we are looking at reaching out to those unbanked areas and the people in a very effective, efficient and at a minimal cost. So that would basically support the Maya Declaration, the 4 principles, innovative financial inclusion through technology-based product like mobile banking, and also at the same time as we know very well, the financially excluded are people who are not very literate, financially literate. So we also look at enhancing and developing the financial education, and parallelly ensuring we have adequate legal regulatory framework in place to protect consumer. So all these 4 principles that I talked about, which are a part and parcel of a financial inclusion policy, would support the Maya Declaration. Yes, we are members member of many organizations and entities, but particularly in the context of AFI, I would just like to sum up by saying that what we can do, what we cannot do by reading newspapers or articles or browsing the internet, that AFI does, that is basically bringing us to a platform where we can share, each country can share the experience in a very candid manner. So that is one approach that I really like. And the other thing, particularly in the case of Bhutan, during our process of drafting the financial inclusion policy, the AFI was very helpful in the sense that they helped us get in touch with the Kenyan Authorities Central Bank and helped us on an exchange visit. What I would like to say is that Bhutan is a small country, but we are well known for our philosophy of gross national happiness. So I would just like to connect it with the financial inclusion policy that we have put in place, meaning that one of the pillars of the gross national happiness is to ensure equitable distribution, meaning every Bhutanese should have a right to equally enjoy the growth in the economy. And how do we do that? We do that by ensuring that the growth is an inclusive one. And how do we ensure inclusive growth through the financial inclusion policy?